Hey guys, this is Love is Dead, and this is the second episode in my series that I've been kind of working on. It's the Pros and Pubs series, and today we're going to be looking at Funn1k. He's on Empire, if you didn't know, and he's going to be playing in a pub game, and it's going to be Faceless Void that he's going to be using. He's going to be safe lane in the bottom lane, and I took a look at this before, so I know that he's going to be supported by a witch doctor who does actually a pretty good job of it. But we're just going to be working on his player perspective now. Let me get this thing out. There we go. We're just going to be using his player perspective to take a look at the match, and maybe I'll take it off every once in a while. I'm going to put up the last hits. There we go. So, anyways, the first thing I got to say about this before we really get started watching him is that farming a hard carry like Faceless Void, Anti-Mage, any of these extremely hard carries. Um, let's see. There's not Phantom Lance. Well, I guess Phantom Lance is one too, but he's a little different. PL. I keep saying that. No, PA. Phantom Assassin. It's very boring, and it should be boring. It shouldn't. If you want to play a hero that's that's going to be in the mid game or early parts of the game, able to do something, able to deal damage or be a part of team fights, get kills, from the get go, you really want to be looking at something like a Queen of Pain. Morphling used to be decent at it, and he's less picked up now. He's still pretty strong. It was just his waveform, because it was a form of movement and it was an escape that he could use to he could deal damage with it, a significant amount of damage, and then he had adaptive strike that he could level up later on. And yeah, he was definitely a little more fun carry to play. But Faceless Void, if we're gonna take a look at take a little quick look at what his skills are. You have a escape that does some slow. You have backtrack, which is a dodge chance. You have time lock, which is basically a bash. Has a random chance of that as well. And then Chronosphere, which just locks heroes down. So if you think about it, he really is not going to be effective until his right clicks are fast enough and damaging enough to be able to take out heroes. And, well, that's why he's a hard carry. He needs to get farm. And that's what he's going to be focused on doing. Some of the finer points you want to take a look at here is Witch Doctor is doing a fantastic job of keeping the enemy off of him. This is actually, they're playing a bit more passive than I would really expect them to be playing. They have a good amount of nuke damage with Tiny and not Necrolite, Pugna here. If he gets a Decrepify off, let's take a look at Pugna. Decrepify, it gives you spell bonus damage of 40%. Tiny has just a ton of burst damage, so not now, but once they get a little more levels, it's actually could be a problem for Funn1k in this match. But right now he's pretty safe to be in the lane because Pugna is just actually having a hard time dealing with Witch Doctor, and Tiny really can't get in here. He probably could play a little more aggressive, but he's not going to be yet. Probably waiting for his bottle or some sort of mana regen item for him. Anyways, he's backing off, and as you can see, what they're doing right now is controlling the creep wave. This is one of the first things you need to learn if you want to play a hard carry, is you have to understand that you want the creep wave back towards your tower, and the position of it is actually very important because you don't want to be taking damage from the tower really ever if you don't have to. Now they're pushing up right now, and that happens every once in a while, but they're making sure to harass while they're pushing them away, so that it's much harder for them to get last hits under the tower, as well as you can see, he's being really annoying here. A little trick you can do, it's not so much a trick, but as soon as you click on a hero, the tower will, if you're in range of the tower, it will go on you. You will become first priority target that way. So you can kind of just stand there and, kind of like look around and kind of be a little bit of a nuisance, maybe take a couple of regulars. He might get a kill here, but it looks like Tiny's going to come up here with a stun, and that's going to be alright. And maybe they're going to get a return kill, but no, Witch Doctor's just going to back off. He's controlling the creep wave, making sure he gets denies when he can, not prioritizing denies over last hits or anything like that. And I don't really think they're going to do much pulling here. They would if they're having a harder time controlling the wave, but really Funn1k has gotten a good amount of free farm right now. in this lane. Tiny hasn't even showed up. But yeah, his creep, if you count, you know, the amount of creeps you have right now, he's got he's got one melee, one range, plus a, this is going to always change, plus a catapult, but you sort of count how many you have versus how many they have, and they're fighting. You can, you know, tell where the direction of your lane is going to go. And you want to keep it as far back as possible. That keeps you safe from ganks. Make sure that the enemy has to go a little further up there, they have to escape longer, and they're not as mobile. Or sorry, their mobility is a little bit limited by the area that they can stand where they feel safe. So it's important to only get last hits. So you can keep the wave back. It's a little forward, you know, it's not really that far forward, but it could be a little bit further back. Witch Doctor now helping with the creep wave rather than pushing back the enemy. They are pretty timid in the lane, so they're not really worried about it. And yeah, so it's just as you can see, it's just sitting in lane, just getting these denies, getting these last hits. And you just sit here until you are big enough that the amount of damage you deal is high enough that you can just roll through the enemy. And it's only exciting for really about 10 minutes. You know, if you look at the course, at least in this game, I'm going to give it away. It's really not going to be too interesting in terms of action until the 10-minute mark, really. I'm sorry, until about the 25-minute mark. They're going to throw him here. They're going to do a little bit of go on him. Yeah, chase him down. They'll probably just get a time walk. Oh, wow, it's first blood. I didn't realize it took that long to get it. Anyways, Witch Doctor is the one that's going to be finished off first. They're going to try to get Ballad. Now he's in a bad position. He's 2v1 right now. And going to back off. He's going to come in here. Magnus has shown up to the match. He's going to skewer. One more right click from both of them. We should be able to finish it off. Actually, two here. One. And Funn1k's going to get the right click. But now it looks like we have Undying here is going to try to finish off Funn1k. Yeah, in this engagement, it's okay. Yeah, they lose Faceless Void, but they do pick up a good amount of kills on him. It's an alright engagement. This is 2 for 2 right now. Didn't really lose anything, didn't gain a whole lot, but it looks like, but then it's a great play here from Magnus, pushing up the Undying, and this is actually still Faceless Void. This is Funn1k watching. And he's not, as you see, he's not going back to the fight, he's going back to the farm, because this is what he needs. And he only went on that because he thought he could have it, and he's just kind of watching them, making sure that his team is doing what they need to be doing. If you are playing the only hard carry on your team, and you see that the rest of your teammates are winning, 4v4 or 4v5 matches, you really don't have to go anywhere, and it's actually better for you if you don't go into those engagements. Even though in pubs, I know people get really upset that you don't go into your engagements. But a lot of people I find don't really understand how much you need to farm for something like a Faceless Void to be effective. Sure, you can get kills, and sometimes that might work, but that's not the reliable method of winning with a hard carry. It might work, you might be able to get them, but it's never guaranteed, and it is much safer to stay in your lane and farm if you have free farm in a situation like this. Now, obviously, not every time you're going to have free farm, and not every time you're just going to be able to do whatever the heck you want. I'm just going to go on a Chronosphere right now. He got a nice crit right there. It was a nice bash, actually, and one more right click should do it. That's going to end Tiny's life. Oh, nice. You have the Witch Doctor wards for your Witch Doctor support. How cute. What was I talking about? Something I wanted to point out right now is how fast he attacks. He attacks a little over, right about once per second. So that means his Chronosphere that's going to be a duration of 4 seconds. So if he Chronospheres and doesn't have to run, it doesn't have to spend any time, that's 400 damage. No, sorry, that's less than 400 damage. that he's going to be able to deal. So it's really not that powerful unless he, unless of course he gets a time lock, which, you know, it's going to give him some bonus damage of 70. So we can call it about 400 damage, which isn't too much. You know, it's not too much in terms of burst damage. It's not really that effective in taking out an enemy hero unless you are in the right position. It's really an escape in most situations unless you are playing some sort of aggressive. You're playing aggressive. Anyways, he's going to go for. He's got a poor man's shield right now. He's finished that up like one of the first things he did. And it's just great for a hard carry in the lanes. You're going to be taking a lot of harassment you usually expect. And got a ring of health after that just to help him stay in the lane. And now pick up a mask. And he's not finished it yet, but he's going to be going for a Mask of Madness. And the lifesteal going, actually going to help him stay in lane even more. And this is all just to help him farm. He's not worried about kills right now. He just needs to be able to stay in lane without being without too much of an issue. And yep, Phantom is they're just sort of going in one-on-one. They're not really thinking about the fact that, you know, there are 3 heroes here. So mistakes played by them. Yeah, are they going to be able to pick up a kill? Nope, it is not going to be a kill. They're still going to, and it looks like Bal's going to die. So they're feeding, doing a good job of feeding here. It looks like we got Magnus here. And this is something else. While you're in lane, you do want to watch your team and make sure you know that that they're doing all right. If you do need to come in, you can. You should carry a TP skull. He doesn't have one, but at about this time, you know, you should have one. But yeah, he's not too much of a big deal because of the situation that they're in right now. Anyways, it is a skewer up onto the high ground over there, and then we have a black hole who's going to catch or is going to hold Lion in here right now. He's going to try to get himself away. And we got Magnus coming here. So Enigma could get the right click right here, but he actually wants to give it to Faceless Void. He's such a nice guy. And Faceless Void does get it. Funn1k gets it. We have Tiny coming in with yet another Avalanche Toss combo. They do pick up a kill for that. Now Ballad getting time locked. Taking a lot of damage, juking around. They have the bottle going in. And now Funn1k realizes that Ballad has regen some health. And is no longer a great situation for him to be in. So he backs off. Magnus there, giving him some mana back. Such a nice guy, such nice teammates. But yeah, back to farming. There isn't a whole lot you need to be doing as a carry. I mean, he's gotten those kills, which is actually pretty good, and they're kind of feeds really. Usually you have a little bit of harder time in the lane. But without his teammates around, he is quite vulnerable, even still, because now he's picked up a Mask of Madness, which makes him much more powerful. And now once he has that active, he goes up to about two hits per second. And that ends that. So Mask of Madness is an item. It really couples pretty well with Chronosphere. Not the only build you can go, and not actually my favorite, because it does increase the damage you take. And Faceless Void, I mean, he's only got 872 health at level 10 right now. He does have 9 armor, which increases his effective hit points a bit. But you know, it's not something like a Doom or Magnus or Centaur. You can be bursted down fairly quickly. They're not doing it, but yeah, you can be bursted down. But in the situation he's got right now, he hasn't had too much of a problem being aggressive. He's got a bit of feeders on the Pugna, and no one's TPing in right now. They're kind of going on a fight on top, and he's fine. This actually happens quite a lot because you just leave the hard carry alone when he's gotten in this kind of situation. And then you try to find a gank at the right time, but that usually ends up with the hard carry getting a tower. That's going to push his lane a little bit further. They're going to give him the chance to push his lane a little bit further into the jungle, the enemy jungle, or lane, sorry. Yeah, we have Backtrack, which still, he's got level 2 Backtrack, he's got level 4 Time Lock, and still, abilities that they're not as effective as, say, like, Queen of Pain coming into the fight, at 13 minutes into the game, getting off a perfect Sonic Wave plus a Scream of Pain, and then hitting someone with a couple right clicks. That's a ton more damage than Faceless Void can do right now. Faceless Void, he's not strong until he gets later on. And now he's purchased up a Crystallis, which is going to be going for a Daedalus. Now, once he has the Daedalus, yes, then he can deal some big damage. But right now, he's still quite vulnerable. The thing that he has going for him, Faceless Void really has going for him, is his two escape mechanisms. One, the Chronosphere, and the other one, the Time Lock. I don't usually see, a level 1 or level 2 Chronosphere actually getting kills. It usually just kind of goes, and then you're not able to deal enough damage because you're just not attacking fast enough. That's what the Mask of Madness helps with. But it's certainly not the only item you can get with him. And he's going to go again. And, oh no, he takes too much. Actually, he's just going to be fine right now. I think he used a little too much mana points to be able to finish off the Chronosphere, or use the Chronosphere. Didn't really need it. Time Lock is high enough that he is okay. And there's still 3 people up top. I'm just looking at the map. I'm really not sure what they're doing. I don't know why they're not trying to kill Faceless Void, why they're farming 3 people, or maybe they're trying to push a tower. I don't know. I think Faceless Void should be the priority here, although they did try to go on him before and lost that a couple times, so don't want to feed him anymore. He's 7-1 right now. This is a pretty scary situation for any enemy team that is in this situation. But as you can see, they're fighting up top, but even with 4 up there, his team is still defending, and he has literally no need to go up there right now. If they're not going to pressure, if they're not going to do anything, if they're not going to do anything really effective, he doesn't need to stop his farm, and he shouldn't. The more money he gets, the more safe his game is winning. His game is of winning in the end. I know Pyrian Flax just came out with a video saying about what kind of bullshit Faceless Void is, and he's a special kind of bullshit because it's all your fault. You didn't do anything about him. You couldn't do anything about him, or yeah. So it's good. So Ballads, Ballad just summed it up for us right now. They say go top, they don't do anything top. Void farms, and now he's nearing the out of control position because he hasn't. I mean, it's 16 minutes into the game. He's got Mask of Madness, Crystallis. He's actually just gonna smoke, and we got an RP going out right now. We have Skewer gonna push him. Nice job, I like that. Magnus just gonna be carrying this whole thing anyway. But now we have a life drain. And Phantom is actually going to have to back off right now. The Chronosphere is available. He does have enough mana for it. He's going to save himself and right-click from the Decrepify. Still going to try to run. He's going to try to run away, but he's not going to be safe. Now Funn1k has gotten yet another kill. 8-1. And he's not worried at this point because he did sit in his lane and he got his right clicks. That's the other thing. That's the other thing about it. You do have to know. You don't even to practice the early and mid game of a hard carry like Faceless Void. You don't even have to play with other people. You just go. I mean, he doesn't even need to go back right now. I think he wants to get a kill. Yeah, there he has his Chronosphere available. A little bit of mixed flicks in the trees, but snipers really just can't stand up to that kind of damage. Free gold for him, so essentially it was just more farm for him. But yeah, you don't. The first. For a normal, not pro, and if you're sort of unfamiliar with carries, if you're sort of new to carrying, you've been playing supports, for the first 20 minutes of the game, I mean even 10 minutes is all you really need to do. You just go into an empty game and you just right click and just get as many right clicks as you can. In about 10 minutes, I would say, if you can go 10 minutes and you start with, I mean, when you first start doing it, you can start with buying yourself some items and stuff. But once you get into it, you start with no items. You go into your lane 10 minutes. If you can get 60 right clicks, 60 last hits in 10 minutes, you're doing pretty good. And now Tiny is kind of sitting right here. So I would say once you get about between the 50 and 60 range, then yeah, just go in pubs and start playing. And you've got all the practice you need. You got at least half of the skill you need. You can practice, like Queen of Pain or more gank-heavy roles to learn what you need to do as a hard carry later on in the match. But there's really no magic to it. It's just about making sure you maximize your damage output with your right clicks. And he's not going to be contested here. He's going to get Roshan. I really hate these. I just don't like this this event's. I really don't like this event's announcer. But that's why I bought the Bastion announcer. But I can't use it right now because it's a replay. But anyways, the Age is going to be burned real quickly. And he kind of just gave that away. Didn't really get a whole lot for it. He got some kills for it. He's just kind of... He's free to do whatever he wants. He's still pretty big, much bigger than anyone else. So let's take a look at the levels right now. Hero level. So he's level 16 and 12. The highest level is 12 against him. So he is in a safe spot. Actually, he's not leading the way in last hits. He definitely should have the highest net worth, though, just because he's gotten so many kills yet. He's got over 3K advantage on Sniper right here. And if you think about it, I mean, Sniper really cannot stand up to a Faceless Void, because Faceless Void can come in, set off the Chronosphere, and kill Sniper before Sniper really has a chance to do much of anything. Sniper, very important about positioning, so if you have a blink on any of your heroes, Sniper is just going to have a hard time staying alive, just because he's so squishy. But yeah, if you want to practice, I mean, you don't really need to play a hard carry in order to practice, the skills you need to hard carry. Because once you get the right clicks down, then you can practice something like a heavy gank or someone who is important with positioning, and you can learn that way too. If you don't wanna, if you're not ready to dive into the complete hard carry role, learning how to effectively gank and things like that. Can I move the? He's dead. Oh, he'll be back in a couple seconds. But anyways, yeah, learning how to team fight and things like that are just as effective. Learning on other mid-game or gank-oriented heroes, like certainly Templar Assassin and Tiny. If you're playing him that way, Undying's a good one to practice with. Heroes that you can still kind of do something if you don't get all the farm you need. Certainly need a lot of farm. Certainly you do need farm. You're playing like the 2 or 3 role there. But hard carrying isn't really the most mysterious thing in the world. Once you get into the really, really high levels, it can get quite complicated. And you can see some amazing plays come out from some hard carries. Certainly the early part of the game, though, is a little slow. And as you see him kind of running around, he's not really playing an exceptionally impressive game. He's just kind of, they're not contesting him enough. He's not doing anything special. As I'm watching, he's just kind of free to do whatever he wants. You can throw away an Aegis and throw away his life. He's only been killed twice. And they just don't have any. They don't have the levels that can stand up to him. And with his friend here getting him what's it called, cleave, he can just wipe out creep waves, get farm faster than that. Right now, if this was a serious game, he would probably either TP down bottom lane, get that farm there, or he would be going into the enemy jungle. Right now he's going for the Ancients. And he's just dealing a lot of damage. He finished up his Daedalus, got a Yasha for some movement speed. Could build that into a Manta style. It'll also give him a good amount of also give him extra agility, which will give him more damage and more armor. Make him more survivable in the lane. Make him more survivable, harder to kill. That's one thing I don't like about Mask of Madness, is it actually doesn't give you any stats to work with. It just gives you damage output and some farming ability. A little bit of farming, not like a Battle Fury would, or certainly a Midas. Anyways, this is the point in the game. I mean, he can exert pressure anywhere he wants. Then we can't really go anywhere just because the hero levels are so high in terms of difference. They're gonna actually snipe the courier there because, you know, why not? I'm not sure if Magnus saw it, or I think they were going for Tiny and just ended up getting the courier. So as you can see, another really important thing as a carry is you're probably the most important decision maker on the team. Small mistakes as a hard carry can lead to some serious problems near the end of the game when you need to be your strongest. So if you make mid-game decisions that don't end up working out, and you're losing too much of the mid-game, or actually even the early game, to be able to carry into the late game, that's probably the next biggest issue, other than ability to farm. Is that you have to know you have to know when you want to go on someone, when you need to play safe, when you can join the team fight, and you need to make all these decisions on your own. Your team's not actually going to tell you. Actually, they're probably going to tell you the wrong thing to do. So you have to learn on your own where to make the best decisions and what you need to be doing at all times. If you don't know what you're doing, the answer is probably get more farm and just find it anywhere. You know, it doesn't matter where you get farm from, just get it and you'll be all right. You're gonna keep the cleave up on him. He's finished off his Manta style. And you're going to go in. He's going to go right in right now. 1, 2, 3. He actually goes to make sure that he gets Lion before anything happens. And then going to actually be able to regen enough health to survive Pugna's ultimate. And then we have Witch Doctor coming in, and he's going to use a stun, Maledict. If he's going to get tossed and killed, get a monster kill on the Magnus. He buys back into the game, coming into the fight again. Actually, he's going to run all the way there. 26 minutes into the game, we got a Daedalus, Manta style, and a Mask of Madness up on Funn1k. So let us take this off of player perspective. Let's put it on free camera. Let's see what, let's see, Tiny, he's got nothing. We got Sniper with a Shadow Blade, really not going to help him. It helps him with initiation, positioning, escape, those types of things, but really not so much, nothing that can compare with the build on Funn1k right now. We have Undying. He really doesn't have anything at all. Doesn't even know to finish off his Force Staff, which I think that's what he was going for. What do his partners have? We got Witch Doctor. He's got Aghanim Scepter. We got Magnus here. And Magnus was looking for a Battle Fury, but hasn't actually gotten it. And he already has a Shadow Blade himself. That's for the initiation. And we have Enigma right here. He's got a Blink Dagger, he's got Mechanism, some Dust. But anyways, yeah, they're free to win this game. But anyways, I just wanted to, really the points I wanted to make are just, you know, make sure you know that you're getting enough farm before you enter a fight, and make sure that, you know, it'll take a little while before you understand exactly how much farm you need in order to survive a fight, exactly, you know, what your level is versus the other heroes, how the other team is doing, you know, when you need to make the decision to go in. But I think this will give a decent background in how to do it. Definitely an easy game to watch because, you know, Faceless Void is fed pretty good, and that's the danger of very much the danger of it, and the danger of not focusing on the hard carry when he is big, and making sure that you stop him before he gets way too much out of control. As Purian Flag said, it's a whole nother level of bullshit, because it is not that Faceless Void is bullshit. Faceless Void is actually pretty weak for most of the game. It's not like he's strong all around. He is exceptionally weak in the early game. It's not that Faceless Void is bullshit. It is that the rest of the team needed enough coordination in order to stop him from getting to the point where he was ridiculous. So anyways, I think that's pretty much it for this, and maybe you're going to be recording another one, but if you tuned in while I did this live, thank you for tuning in. Otherwise, you can probably find this on my YouTube channel, which is where I think most people do the watching. So anyways, I'm Love is Dead, and thank you for tuning in.